Hello, guys. I'm back and I'm here to tell you my birth control story. Um, I had a very negative experience with birth control, and my experience resulted in me, of course, wanting and absolutely getting off of the birth control as fast as I could so that I would no longer have these issues. And so, what was going on with the birth control, which is advocated for so heavily in society, and it really behooves me because we constantly see these commercials about these women who had these strokes and all these other horrible health outcomes due to taking a birth control pill. And I took Ocella. Currently, there is a law settlement for Ocella. I'm glad I'm not in the settlement because I did not have any of those outcomes. I believe it was like stroke, pulmonary embolism, um, um, and something else. I don't really remember exactly what the issue was. But there's women that have definitely died from taking this birth control pill, and I find it very very interesting that people would continuously take these medicines, these contraceptives, and and actually lose their lives because they didn't want to give life. I find that very very interesting, and my perspective is I would rather have a child um, than die because I didn't want to have one. So currently, what I have been using is something called neem, and it's an herb. Um, it's an herb, and it's used very heavily in India for the sole purpose of contraception. It helps with your skin. It cleans your blood. It cleans your liver. So I mean, it does. It's actually something that is really great, and it's also used as a natural pesticide. But it has been taken for hundreds of thousands of years. It's safe. I got mine from Whole Foods. And I've sat down and I've talked with several couples who have used neem as a contraceptive with no issues, no pregnancies, none of that. Um, but if you have, had a oopsie with neem, I welcome you to make that comment below. My goal is not to make you believe what I'm saying. It's for you to research yourself. Okay, I don't want you to take a pill or take a shot or wear a patch if you're not aware of the outcomes. So for me, when I took birth control, my entire digestive system just shut down. Okay, it was like, okay, bye. Could not do number two. Okay, it was very painful. I was a lot of bloating. It was a lot of gas. It was really gross. But that was what happened to me. Um, while I was on it, I was very sleepy. I normally don't have breast tenderness during PMS. I had breast tenderness at certain times of the month. And so your hormones, female hormones, estrogen and progesterone, they have a very um, scheduled and ritual and cyclic way of working together. And when you take birth control, it stops that. It keeps your hormones at one level. And the only time that your hormones are at that one level are when you're pregnant. And so your body kind of gets these pregnancy symptoms: the weight loss, the constipation, the brain fog, the exhaustion, the weight gain, and the breast tenderness. These are all things that happen during pregnancy. I certainly don't want to have to go through those things um, just because I don't want to have a baby, because then you get pregnant and you got to deal with them again. No, I'm good on that. So, this particular herb, neem, as well as Queen Anne's lace and wild carrot seed have been used to prevent pregnancy. There are also herbs that have abortive properties, so you have to kind of be careful which ones you use. You need to know why you're using them and the safety precautions. And I'm going to put some of that information below. Um, but we have to just really be cognizant of things that we're putting in our body. Artificial hormones are not good to put in your body. If your body already has testosterone and it already has estrogen at a certain level, leave it there. Don't increase it or decrease it because you never know what may be the outcome. You may become infertile. You may actually get pregnant while you're on the birth control. It's happened. It happens to lots of people, and things like that. So, of course, be informed about the herbs that you are taking, and know when to use them, as well. Because there are risks associated when you take anything, when you eat any food, when you drink anything. You just want to be careful. So I'm going to put some information below about that. And so I've had success in helping some couples get pregnant, which I'm very, very proud of. Um, I call myself fertility counselor, baby whisperer. Babies love me, and I'm really good at helping couples get pregnant. So I'm very passionate about fertility work. So if you need help getting pregnant, if you need help not getting pregnant, you need to know, okay, what can I take? We can discuss that as well, because every herb is not for every person. Everyone's different. Um, so I'm going to post that information. If you Google Sister Zeus, she has a lot of information about contraceptives, natural contraceptives, the schedule of how to take certain herbs. Also, Dr. Mercola, Mercola, he has a lot of information about that, and he advocates for the rhythm method. And the rhythm method is when you know when you're ovulating, and there are different ways to know when you're ovulating. And so when you figure out when you're ovulating, if you're trying to prevent a pregnancy, you don't engage in intercourse. And if you are trying to get pregnant, this is your time to go ahead and baby dance, as they call it. So you would need a thermometer to gauge your temperatures, because your temperatures are going to show you when you ovulate. Your temperatures go like this, essentially, but there's a slight dip in your temperature right when you ovulate, and then it continues to go back up, and then when you menstruate, it just kind of goes back down to what it was at the beginning, and then it's just a cycle. One thing that you will see with women's bodies is that everything works in a cycle. Okay, you have a menstrual cycle. A lot of women's moods and their emotions are guarded with the moon. Women are associated with the moon a lot. And so to disrupt this cycle can pose problems. There are people who get off birth control and they can't get pregnant. They did not have any previous health issues before. I have a friend that has a very serious thyroid issue that did not occur until she got on birth control. Your thyroid regulates your hormone function. So it is very possible that, in layman's terms, I would describe it this way: her body had a way of going about taking care of itself, of renewing itself monthly, and doing its feminine cycle. And then she put this birth control, and it didn't have to do it. It had been altered. Your hormones are staying at this one place, which is not normal. Your hormones, they do this. Okay, that's where the mood swing idea comes from. It's an ebb and flow. And so her hormone could have just easily been like, all right, I'm not needed, so bye, peace. Okay, in layman's terms, that's basically what her thyroid possibly could have done. I'm not a doctor, I didn't take her test, but I do know that her issues did not start until after she got on the birth control. And now that she's got off the birth control, she still has a problem. There are natural ways to regulate your hormones. I'll be doing a video about that soon. There are some women who have proven to regulate that function. And I actually used to have very sporadic menstrual cycles, very irregular menstrual cycles. I was still able to conceive. I've never been diagnosed with PCOS. But I did take something called chasteberry, and it helped to regulate my cycles. And so that can help you if you're trying to get pregnant, or if you can't really pinpoint when you're ovulating, or you don't know if you're ovulating. Take the chasteberry, get on a regular cycle, and then figure out if you're ovulating or not. And so another thing that's a great tip with these methods, where you just check your temperature, or you can check your cervical mucus. If your cervical mucus looks like egg whites, most of the time you're fertile at that point, which would be a good time to abstain from sex. Again, I'm going to put some information below as to where you can get some information about watching your cervical mucus for contraceptive or conception properties, which either one you want to go with. If you want to have a baby, if you want to prevent a baby. And so these methods work both ways, which is awesome, because then you don't have to switch anything up when you're like, okay, we're ready to have a baby now. Okay, now, well, I know I've been doing this for 5 years. I know when I'm ovulating now. Okay, let's just do it. We can have sex then. So it works. It's easy. And also the cost of the medications that we use, the birth control pills, the patches, the IUDs, that costs money. And so do the herbs, but they're a lot cheaper. You don't have to buy this on a monthly basis. This is enough. I've had this. There's 60 pills in here, and I don't take it as often as my partner does. We both have our own bottle. This has lasted us about 3 months, okay? $11. I mean, the cost is great compared to the cost that many women pay for birth control pills. And I'm a former pharmacy technician, so I'm aware of how much money, um, is put toward birth control. Also, with the IUDs, which is an intrauterine device, it's normally made of copper, but not always. But you put it in your, the doctor puts it in your uterus, and it doesn't allow your body to build an endometrium lining. Your endometrium lining is what is shed every month during your cycle. So it never gets to grow, which means you never get to get pregnant, because there's nowhere for the egg to go. This does not mean the eggs are not getting fertilized. So if you're pro-life, you might not want to, that might not be a good option for you. Also, the IUDs, I'm trying to scare anybody. I'm just gonna be real about this. There are several women who have stories about IUDs getting loose. If you know anything about the female reproductive system, any scarring in your uterus, on your cervix, that pretty much means your fertility is done. Okay, it's very, very difficult to get pregnant once you have had scarring in that delicate part of your body, and that kind of makes a lot of sense. I mean, you wouldn't want to scratch your heart or scratch your liver or scratch your spleen or scratch anything else, and scratch your lung. It makes it unable to function. So you wouldn't want to do that. For me, honestly, that was too far for me. I was like, I'm not putting something in there that can get loose and scratch me up. It's been stories of women getting a hysterectomy because they're having so many reproductive issues, and they find a dislodged IUD, like just dislodged in there, and it's been missing for years. And of course that is what caused a lot of the reproductive issues, because you have like a foreign body in your body. Also, the copper in the IUDs, not something you want inside your body. You wouldn't swallow a penny and just expect everything to be normal, would you? No. But women, they inject this in their uterus, and not always good outcomes with that. It does affect your adrenal functions, which is a gland. I'll post information about that as well in the box below. These information are going to be from doctors and natural holistic health practitioners, not someone's blog or something I made up. These are going to be actual, I feel, reliable sources of information. Also, we have to take into consideration that birth control does not always work. Sometimes when holistic practitioners tell, well, use apple cider vinegar with this, oh, it didn't work for me. Nothing works for everybody. Just like the pill does not work for everybody. Interview some of your friends. I guarantee you one of them or someone they're close to has had a birth despite using condoms, despite using contraception. So always remember that if you are having sexual intercourse, you are inviting the possibility of a pregnancy, period. If you're being abstinent, okay, you've excluded that possibility. But if you're having sex, this is a possibility. So always consider that in every aspect of your life. Do you want to have a baby with this person? Do you want a kid at all? Do you have some things in your future that you want to get done before you have a child? Think about that if you're engaging in sexual intercourse. So that's my video. I'm going to post some things below. Again, if you want to shop with me, you need some help getting pregnant, you need some help not getting pregnant, I got stuff for all that. www.blissfulvitalitywellness.com. Email me, blissfulvitalitywellness@gmail.com. If you have any questions, concerns, need help getting pregnant, need help not getting pregnant, need help with your feminine issues, I'm here. You guys have a great day. Thank you.